right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, May 15th, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, all across the country on Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody, on a Thursday. There you go. Paul Nolan sitting right there to my left, up here in Hollywood Square number 1. He's got news coming up.
This is weird.
Lovely lady.
Rick Delgado, he's got some news coming up as well. Slick Rick's got sports. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. There you go. The whole LFS6B family in one shot. I love it.
I love that.
I love it. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're having a great Thursday. Slick, let me ask you a question. Let's just get right down to business here.
Sir.
If I come up with a big plan with you on the for the warehouse tomorrow night, let's say, okay? And then I call you during the day and I say, Slick, let's 86 that. That's not going to work. Let's just 86 that idea.
What day do you call me? Friday or the day before?
No, I'm going to call you Friday the day of.
Oh,
I'll say, let's just 86 that. Do you have any idea what I mean? What do I mean?
Yeah, 86 means you want to get rid of it. You want to cut
it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Now, if I say to you, man, I just love 47. He's my favorite. Do you know who I'm referring to?
47? No.
Okay.
No, President Trump.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm thinking sports.
Okay.
47. Trump.
Okay, that's
President Trump, of course.
Good point. Okay, so you got the 86 and you got the 47.
Right.
Okay, this is not rehearsed.
Nope.
Do you have any idea what I'm even talking about right now?
No.
Okay, that's why I did it with you, because I probably figured you may not have seen this. So the idea that this guy, as the former FBI director, did not know what Slick just proved. Everybody knows when someone says we're going to 86 that. Yeah. Everybody knows what that means.
You guys know where that term came from?
There's no doubt about it. This POS needs to be investigated. He needs to be arrested under whatever U.S. code is available to Kash Patel and to the Department of Justice, because this is wild SH. Paul, what were you saying?
No, I had some trivia for you.
Go ahead.
86, you know where it came from? You know where that originated from?
No.
The Mets.
No, if you were a rat, they would take you 80 miles out and 6 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
86.
Started in Vegas.
There you go.
The
casino.
I know that.
The great casino movie.
What a surprise.
Hey, I'm making sausage and peppers.
86, 80 miles out, 6 feet deep.
My mother's making sausage and peppers.
So James Comey today, as most of you know, posted a picture. And this is so wild of so many things. There's the picture.
Oh, my. I didn't see this.
Yeah, me either until just now.
So what's so wild about this is that the former director of the FBI, wants us to believe that, number one, he didn't know what 86 meant. Lie number one. 47, clearly. But the wildest part of this slime ball is that he wants us to believe that he walked up on the beach and this was just there like this. Like it just happenstance.
Ooh.
He just walked on the beach and this is what he found. It was just in this formation. And I thought, wow, that looks so nice. Let me take a picture of those seashells and post it on my Instagram with nothing to say other than the picture. This slime, low-life scumbag wants us to believe that nature wants President Trump killed after he's already survived 2 assassination attempts.
You mean sand crabs came up and just started bringing some shells, and they're like, oh, we've been in the water all day collecting shells. Let's put them all right here.
8647 is what this guy posted. And he wants us to believe that he doesn't know what 86 stands for because he deleted this post. And in deletion of it, he said, I took a picture of some seashells on the beach without realizing that some people may have taken the numbers to mean violence, he says, which I didn't know. So I've taken it down. I mean, this is some wild, you know what? This is wild.
And keep in mind, he's the former director of the FBI, and they are pretty well, I would think they're pretty well educated on all sorts of types of things to look out for, little symbols and stuff.
Henchman.
Right.
I mean, he was a Clinton hitman. Come on,
he knows
this
exactly
guy's
what
full of it.
86 means.
Come on.
He's a lot.
Just say it was a bad joke and bad taste and move on.
I don't think it was
move
a joke.
on to an orange jumpsuit is what he should move on
you
to.
ain't kidding about that.
That's the thing, Paul. I don't think this was a joke.
No, but I'm saying.
I don't think it's a joke either. I think it's a call to action.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I see it.
100% that's what it was. But he would have a better excuse. I'm saying, oh, I just made a joke of bad taste. He can't act like he doesn't know what this is.
That's exactly what he's acting
he's
like.
trying
He's
to.
acting like he doesn't know what 86 stood
Yeah,
for.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's so ridiculous. Everyone knows he knows.
The former director of the FBI doesn't know it. He never said to anybody, let's 86 that.
Right.
like no one's ever used that term around him. Like he's never used that term.
Like he doesn't know what the circular file means either. Does he know what that means?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what the circular file is? 8647. Oh,
I can't believe that's his excuse. That's really my point.
Numbers.
How could he possibly think he can get away with that excuse?
I don't know. Again, I don't know what's more wild: the excuse of not knowing 86, or the idea that we're supposed to believe he just walked up on that.
Oh my goodness! Look at nature.
Hey, look at here.
And if nature did that naturally, you really posting it? What's the point?
8647.
And what are the chances?
He's so full of it.
Let's just believe his first three lies, like we know liberals will. What are the chances that in the entire Earth, that nature just did that, and it just did it where he would be, of all places,
That's
of all places
crazy.
on the Earth?
I'd say 1 in a trillion.
More.
That's too much.
That's way too
Giving
close.
it 0.00001% chance of happening, like he says, is giving it way too much.
Yeah.
1 in 2 trillion?
There's zero chance that he just, oh, look at this. Let me take a picture. That's really nice. What a nice formation. Get out of here.
Yeah.
18
Nice
USC
formation.
871. Not that Cash Patel or anybody needs me to tell him. 18 USC 871. That should be Cash Patel's next tweet. I saw the tweet tonight saying we're aware of this and it's under investigation. That's not enough. This is beyond reprehensible. He knows exactly what he was doing. That picture is a call to action. While the man is overseas, he's already survived 2 assassination attempts. The first one, we still don't know who the guy was communicating with
With his
overseas, by the way.
with his 7 cell phones.
Which that's, by the way, a whole nother story. Why don't we know more? Having this administration in there for 4 months now. But
CIA.
putting that aside, this guy needs to be, again, we said this on so many things. If you're not going to make an example of people trying to pull this kind of crap, I don't care that he's high profile. I don't care that he's the former FBI director. He knew damn well what that meant. He knew damn well what he was doing when he posted it. That post is a call to action to somebody or some group or some things, or just a, hey, let's rev this back up because the first 2 didn't work.
Right.
It is so beyond reprehensible. If they don't look to make a case, and listen, I understand nothing is just like, okay, it's a violation of this and go get them. But man, oh man, I just don't see how they can let this slide.
You know what? I have a theory. In the few minutes that I've seen this and we've talked about it, I've developed a theory, Damon. This sounds like a man who may be already under investigation and he knows it. And maybe he's a little scared.
So he figured, what, let me just make it worse.
Yeah. What does he have to lose at this point?
He should have used smoke signals.
Or a Chinese balloon.
I mean, you could explain what you're thinking.
I'm just thinking, this sounds like somebody who's lashing out because he knows his world could be coming to an end, right?
I mean, he's so protected. He's got dirt on everyone. He is so protected. He's above the law.
Who, Comey?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other guys underneath him aren't as protected as he is, and they're going to take him down with him.
Listen, whatever it was, to call to action 86-47 has to be taken seriously.
And then to say, I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence? What? What?
Did he know what the 47 meant? Did he even explain that one?
He didn't in his follow-up tweet when he deleted this picture talk about the 47 part. But in talking about the 86 part,
Please.
I mean, it's
Please.
Maybe it was the Win 4 daily
it's
number.
not even it's nothing about it that's funny, but it's laughable
Yeah.
that he's trying to tell us he didn't know what 86 meant as the former director of the FBI. And that, again, more wild than that is that he walked up on these seashells and they just happen to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, look at this.
So if he didn't know, then he's wildly incompetent for that job that he had, which we already all know. But he's a liar. He's a professional liar. He's a sociopath. And he does not, I just don't know. I think he knows that he's above the law.
Why would you, who takes a picture of what's clearly 4 numbers and just posts it?
Unless he's like, these are the numbers I'm going to go play Win 4.
I just said that, yeah.
These are my Win 4 numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy.
You know what's crazy? He's not the first one to do it.
Yeah, we had Gretchen Whitmer in her background.
In the background of her live shot in her place during COVID.
What did she have?
With an 86-45.
On the little blocks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was during, yeah.
I don't remember that.
You
Yeah,
have that clip?
MAGA Barbie has it posted on X.
Wow.
Yep. The audience remembers, and I'm sure of that.
I just
can't believe the excuse he would give. It's just so staggeringly stupid. You think he had to be drunk when he did that, right? Why would he post that? Why would he go out of his way to lay these little pebbles out, like, you know?
I don't think so at all. I think he knew exactly what he was doing,
Yeah.
and I think he's hoping the intended consequences are just what we all think they
So
are.
you think he sent the message to his
Yeah.
to his Blackwater underground mercenary buddies?
I don't know if
whack
it's a
this
message-
guy because we're all going down.
I don't know if it's a message to them directly. I think it's just a message of they want the guy out.
Well,
they want the guy gone.
Well, the Epstein stuff is starting to heat up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on now with evidence coming out. So who knows? Maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
We got an
Are you
update.
aware of this, Delgado?
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Things are stirring up.
Paul will do the news. We'll find out what he's talking about. Plus, we'll do sports. Delgado's news. 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Never mind. Just first thing that came
He's
up.
not going to talk about it.
Oh, I thought he had
No
a press
chance.
about like he
No
screwed up.
chance he talks about this.
Ken B 412 chat in the Rumble chat says P Diddy and Epstein just pull the Band-Aid off and we can clean up DC from the Democrats and the Republicans. Not a bad idea.
A rumph.
Howdy, Rumblers.
I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize even that first part, which I assumed were a political message.
So he
come
knew
on.
something had to do with.
Sure.
I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down.
Oh.
He's so full of crap.
I mean, is that the biggest bunch of bullshit you've ever heard in your
Yeah,
life?
I think he was shell shocked.
Total bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
That's crazy.
It's just so absurd.
Wild, man. That is wild shit.
I mean, so you believe instead of a signal chat or some kind of encrypted way to say to some mercenary, we got to pop this guy because the duty's about to hit the fan. You think he put that cryptic message out as a tweet just as a way to to get it to anybody they can who's willing to do this job?
I just think that's what he actually really believes. Like that's what he
wants.
feels. He
Right.
wants to happen.
Look, I believe there's a hit on Trump. I mean, look what he's done. He's up turning the apple cart for the military-industrial complex. He's going after big pharma. He's gone head-to-head with Israel. You know, he's changing the whole structure of the New World Order. I mean, he's just like it's commerce over chaos.
Super Chat, Child of the King gifted 20 live subs, Big D.
Thank you,
He's
Child of the
making
King.
enemies everywhere. Child of the King again.
Yep.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Remember, tomorrow night we'll be back at the America First Warehouse live on a Friday night. We hope to see some of you there. If you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio and you want to come see the show, send me an email, lfs6b@yahoo.com. If you'd like to attend, we'll put you on the guest list, lfs6b@yahoo.com. If you're a first responder, we're going to have some first responders, I believe, there tomorrow night as well. We're
nice.
working on some things with some firefighters and some policemen, some emergency personnel,
Nice.
which we're going to continue to do outreach like that with the help of Slick and his people through the Chamber of Commerce all over and
Nice.
other great people who have already come to see the show a couple weeks now. Came both weeks. And going to try to start doing those kind of outreach. So it's going to be great. America First Warehouse, you can get tickets right there if you want to scan it on your phone. And we hope to see you there. It's on some Friday. If it's not tomorrow, it's some Friday here as we continue on down that road of live shows on Friday night, which is great. Pretty soon we'll get some music involved, and obviously we'll start having guests in person. So it's going to be a good time.
And did we get confirmation the steak truck will be there?
The steak truck will be there tomorrow night.
Nice.
I sent it to you in the group thread. Did you
Yes.
not read
Yeah,
it?
they're going to start cooking. You're going to get the truck all fired up. We'll be able to start eating early. I want
So
to
you
eat
can
before the show.
Stuff your fat face, Doug, out on
Nice.
time. Don't you worry.
Bring your floss.
Here's the post by FBI
wears
Director
his.
Kash Patel tonight. We are aware of the recent social media posts by former FBI Director James Comey directed at President Trump. We are in communication with the Secret Service and Director Kernan. Primary jurisdiction is with the Secret Service on these matters, and we, the FBI, will provide all necessary support. And as I said, his next post should be former FBI Director James Comey has been arrested and under USC Section 871 for threatening the life of the sitting president, which is absolutely what he did.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's really an argument there, right?
No.
The relevant statute for prosecuting a threat against the President of the United States, such as the 47th, is 18 U.S.C. 871. This federal law prohibits knowingly and willfully. Those are your two key words, knowingly and willfully. And how ironic is it if it ever got to this, which, like Paul said, there's many things probably standing in the way. How ironic is it that knowingly and willfully will hopefully be the two words that the current FBI director does not try to rewrite the statute, as James Comey himself did for Hillary Clinton in violation of the Espionage Act, which she did, and he changed the wording so that he could say no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute, which is nonsense. Every reasonable prosecutor who wasn't a left-wing propagandist dirtbag would have prosecuted. Who wasn't in the tank for the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation would have prosecuted. The federal law prohibits knowingly and willfully making any threat to take the life of, kidnap, or inflict bodily harm upon the president-elect, the vice president, or other officers next in the order of succession. The offense carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison, fines up to $250,000, or both.
I say both.
Where is the gray area in that description of 18 USC 871 and what James Comey did today? You're going to try to convince me that's not knowingly and willfully what he did?
Especially such a high-level guy. This is a guy with every connection and everywhere in politics for 40 years. I mean, this guy is a staple of D.C.
Bizarre.
It's not like some 18-year-old blue-haired kid at a pottery class wrote this in her, in a silly artwork.
Right.
This is a high-level guy with motive.
With how many people follow him on social media? Once you get up in that millions of people following you, you don't post willy-nilly. You don't just post things like, oh, yeah, and make us believe that you walked up on a beach and it just happens to be these seashells. That's the 8-year-old there with her family before you got there just happened to build 8647.
Was the beach on Epstein's Island?
What's the Chicago?
Could have been
the Chicago song? What's the numbers there? It's not even that, right? It's not like they were singing
25,064.
yeah, whatever it is, 309, whatever, 8675.
Hey, that's Zoe. No, yeah.
8675, yeah.
Jenny.
No, that's
Jenny. I got your number.
Whoever it is.
That's Tommy Toon, right?
Yeah,
8675309.
Well, I mean, it's just crazy. Honestly, it's one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
Crazy.
For somebody like him, just outwardly put it out there. And almost to the point where he's like, well, they'll never just think I was this stupid to just call for the guy's assassination after it's happened twice, so why not? That's almost what it feels like.
Yeah. It's like, I can't, right. It's like, I can't be this stupid, right?
Right. I mean, how
stupid
do you
could I
explain
be?
this?
Right.
It's crazy.
Even I'm not that stupid.
I'll just tell him I just walked up on it.
Right.
I'll just tell him I don't know what 86 means.
I saw a sea turtle running back into the ocean. I thought, what was he up to? Turns out he knows how to write numbers down.
Like no one's ever said to him, "Hey, Director Comey, let's 86 that idea." Well, no, we're going to 86 that. We're moving on to something else. Like he's never heard that before.
I was going to say that's probably going to come out. You watch. Maybe somebody who he worked under or worked under him will produce some memos or something. Here he is using the term 86. Let's 86 this investigation.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or we're going to find out that it was a regular term used throughout the FBI to refer to certain things.
I mean, does anybody think if you're going to argue this on prosecution, if we'll just play along here and go down the road that we're probably not going to go down anyways, but let's just play ball. Does anyone think they can't argue intent of what he intended here in the context he did it? I mean, does anybody think that guy, what we've been through with him, what he did in that position, what they did to Trump, that he basically ran out of his office with those people and the subpoenas and the warrants and the spying and all the stuff and his own agents with the we got a backup plan if Trump win, back out in 2016, 17, all that between the two lovebirds there who used to work for him.
Right.
Does anybody think that they could reasonably say, this is just political hyperbole. It's just jest. It's just kind of idle talk that he's doing.
You know what's
really?
You know what's great? Tomorrow he'll post another picture. It'll probably be another walk on the beach. And oh look, seaweed spells out deep 6. Huh? I wonder what that means. Deep 647. What does that mean?
And the original post, by the way, he writes.
Kill Donald.
he writes cool formation. Cool shell formation on my beach walk.
Oh, he wrote that?
That's the quote. Cool formation.
Wow.
That is not a
formation. That is bad.
on my beach walk.
That is bad.
8647. I mean, it's wild. Absolutely
How much
wild.
you want to bet his handprint fits perfectly below
His
that?
shoes, exactly. I'll bet they exactly do. His handprint, his knees, the size of his knees right there.
You know, the fact that people have cameras all over, I wonder if there was a house nearby that has a camera and it shows him sitting there.
Well, they should be out there finding
I'm
it.
sure they already are. I'm sure they already
They
are.
should be out there
Hilarious.
finding it because this is outrageous.
Yep.
I'm sorry to spend 25 minutes on it, but I literally could not believe it when I saw it. How absolutely blatantly in your face this guy is.
Well, here's in just the news. I don't know if you saw this, but Patel says the FBI has taken Comey's social media post targeting Trump seriously. I don't know if you saw this. So,
Well, we'll know they're taking it seriously when he gets arrested.
yep.
That's the bar for taking it seriously. Because that's how serious I think it is. And go get every one of those shells. Of course, they're probably gone now. Comey probably sent one of his agents out there to take out those shells because his fingerprints are probably all
Somebody
over.
said
Yeah,
they're,
he
fixing,
wanted a deep system.
they're fixing a room for him in Alcatraz.
God, what a slime ball. Yeah.
Get onto Trump's trip.
Yeah, okay. Pick up the channel changer
By the
and
way,
use it. That's what I
Brian
said.
Krasenstein, the actor,
Krasenstein,
Yeah.
yeah. He's, not,
he just reposted 8647.
he's actually posted it before, I think someone said.
So he's not the actor from the
No,
show.
him and his brother are political operatives for the left.
Okay, this is not the guy from The Office.
Damon, what cigars do you like? I like
The free ones.
I like the Mac Mobile ones that they had there. I
Oh,
don't
they
know
were-
who does
yeah.
theirs, but they were good.
They were good.
They actually smelled good.
But my go-to,
cigars.
my go-to, you have to have your one last one. What's your go-to is my Olivas.
They're good. I got to tell you, the ones
Damon
that
says, "I'll leave him alone."
Yeah,
the ones Mr. AZ sent, or that guy sent. Forgive me, that guy sent the
Patriot ones are good too. Yeah,
Oh, that guy sent nice ones, right?
those are nice. Yeah, those are good.
the Sanjay Patel's, the Maduro Leaf, Freedom cigars. They're really good.
$5 super chat from Dread Blacker in the YouTube. I'm so old, I remember when the left treated criticism of Obama as death threats and bashed conservatives for inciting violence.
So
Yep.
BP has sent us a couple of this following you back, BP. Thank you for sharing this. This guy Krasenstein sends a bunch of these things out. 8647 with cue balls, and what a real piece of garbage. It's just insane. Tweet Potato sent it too. Thanks, Tweet. I'm following you. No, I got to follow you back.
Damon should block her. Block who? NG Girl 54. I don't usually block people, no matter how annoying they are.
Oh, thanks for telling them all.
All right, Helms
They'll never stop.
M636 says we should look into seashells to support Kamala from Comey. So he may have done this before.
Did you guys see Theo Vaughn talking for before Trump went on?
No.
Yeah, he was over.
Yeah, he was over in the
With the
Middle
troops.
East.
Yep.
Trump asked me, "You ought to come to the Middle East." I'm like, "What? Middle East of what? Like Kentucky?"
Ticked off Patriot. Hello.
I got ticked off.
Susan Vogt asked Paul, "Did you get your print?"
I did. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Hang on. Wait. Here it is.
There it is.
There it is. All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS 6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. You can go to mypillow.com/LFS6B to get all the best deals for this audience. And there are some good ones on the page. Boy, there are some really good ones on pillows, on sheets, on the percale sheets. I think that's how you pronounce it. There's a couple really good deals on the king and queen size sheets that they've been running now for about a week on there. So go to mypillow.com/LFS6B and check it out. Slick's got sports. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D, 8:30 on the East Coast. Here we go. We're going to go to the scoreboard here. NHL action, playoffs, East second round, Game 5. Carolina leading the series 3-1. That game is tied at 1 in D.C. Capitals need that win tonight to continue on in the playoffs, or Ovechkin and friends will be going home. 8:16 to go there in the second. That looks to be a dogfight. The Stars and Jets coming up in Winnipeg tonight. Winnipeg Jets need that win at home. It's a Game 5. Dallas looking to close it out on the road. That's a 9:30 p.m. puck drop over on TNT. To the NBA we go. Another critical Game 6. OKC leading that series 3-2. And the Thunder are on the road taking on the Denver Nuggets in Denver. 8:30 p.m. tip-off there. But we're getting down to the nitty-gritty as, the Minnesota Timberwolves advanced last night by eliminating the Warriors, right? So they've moved on now, and OKC has got to. We'll see what happens with them in Dallas. That'll determine who's going to be obviously in that final. And then Indy is awaiting the winner of the Knicks in Boston. Big Game 6 tomorrow night in the Garden, right, guys? We got to make sure we tune into that as we're at the America Warehouse. We're going to focus on the show, but we want to keep an eye on that score, Big D. That's going to be a hell of a big game. To the Major League Baseball we go. Astros and Rangers, no score, middle of the second. A lot of finals from earlier today. Braves over the Nationals 5-2. Twins blank the Orioles 4-zip. Reds wipe out the White Sox 7-1. Good to see you win there.
Slick, you got to be happy.
Oh, I'm excited. They had a big Pete Rose last night. What'd they do? They lost. Rays 8-3 over the Blue Jays final. Athletics, I'll get into that story later. Athletics and Dodgers, that's a 10-10 first pitch, Big D. I get to a story. This is a serious story, guys. American basketball player arrested in Indonesia could face death penalty for cannabis candy. This is a report from Fox News. Indonesian police say they seized 132 pieces of cannabis candy from Jared Shaw's apartment after a suspicious package tip from Airport Customs. Scott Thompson of Fox News. Jared Shaw, a 34-year-old basketball player in the Indonesia Basketball League, was arrested after allegedly attempting to smuggle illegal drugs into the country, police said Thursday. Indonesia's strict, and I do mean strict, drug laws have Shaw potentially facing a life sentence and even the death penalty if he's found guilty. Convicted smugglers have been executed by a firing squad in the past. Talk about a shooting guard. Ronald Scipion, police chief at Soekarno Hatta Airport, said authorities raided Shaw's apartment just outside the country's capital of Jakarta, where they seized 132 pieces of cannabis candy. A tip came from Airport Customs saying Shaw received a suspicious airway package from Thailand. While cannabis has been decriminalized in Thailand, it remains illegal in Indonesia. Shaw told police he wanted to share the candy with his teammates. We are still running the investigation to uncover the international drugs network behind this case and to stop its distribution, Scipion added. Shaw was present during a news conference Wednesday on the matter wearing an orange T-shirt and mask with his hands tied. He has played for several Indonesian basketball teams, including the Tangerang Hawks, the team he has signed a contract with last year. Shaw has been playing in the league since 2022. However, Hawks manager Tikio Suwanto, oh boy, told reporters Thursday Shaw was immediately let go due to breach of contract. The league also banned
Spanish.
him from play. Yeah, it's almost as good as your Spanglish. We don't tolerate players, administrators, or anyone in the field involved in drugs. Indonesia basketball chair Budi Satrio Dewanto. There is no room for drug users in the basketball world. There are about 530 people on death row in Indonesia.
No way that's what his name is.
Big D. But getting more serious, I guess cannabis candy is probably gummies. What is it?
Yeah.
Probably like gummy bears, right? That type of thing.
It seems like a little bit of a, this is what you get, I guess, in these places.
A little more
right?
background on this fella. Shaw, a Dallas native, played college basketball for Oklahoma State and Utah State. The 6'10" forward saw more time playing with Utah State, averaging 28.3 minutes in 58 contests. During his time with the Aggies, Shaw averaged 14.2 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks. So we'll track that story, Big D, but that's pretty serious. Boy, sure hope the kid doesn't get the death penalty for that. That's very serious. But you don't mess around with drugs in these countries, these third world countries.
No.
And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 35 past the hour. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use at MyPillow. They sponsor sports. Our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com sponsor news, and Delgado's got headlines here. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, let's touch base with the president's big, beautiful mess of a bill. As reports here, House Republicans are advancing the president's big bill of tax breaks, spending cuts, and beefed up border security as Speaker Mike Johnson attempts to pass the package over unified Democratic opposition. By Memorial Day, House committees have labored on the legislation, which runs a whopping 1,116 pages and is titled the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a nod to Trump himself. And we all know when they put it in a name, it's the exact opposite.
It's amazing that the Democrats are going to just come out and act like they're in total it just shows you the level of TDS they have, because this bill is everything that if they were in power, their bill would look exactly like this, by the way. It would absolutely look exactly like this, other than the extension of the tax cuts. They'd obviously give you the big tax hike because they want as much of your money as they can to redistribute. But other than that, this bill is exactly everything they would love. They've got to be going, oh, man, we got to say we don't like it because I love this.
I think it's probably the tax cuts that they don't like.
That's it. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, that gives them cover. As a matter of fact, here is cut number 3. Here's Chip Roy on the big loaded bill, talking about how Medicaid is out of control and the whole line of it. Here's cut 3. Chip Roy, check it out.
And the Republicans aren't doing anything about that.
Yeah, well, the President of the United States, President Trump, and his Secretary of Treasury, Bessent, are doing a fantastic job. And the Secretary has laid out an objective of obviously getting our deficits down to 3% of GDP. Through strong economic growth, through the tax policy that we want to extend that the president put forward, I believe that's one piece of the puzzle that we must go do. But right now, we are not going to address the key drivers of spending that will make it impossible for the president and the secretary to achieve that objective. Bond markets are on a knife's edge. You know that, and I know that. And that is necessary for the free flow of capital to have that economic growth. If we continue to allow Medicaid to consume our budget and allow us to continue to drive that budget up so deficits go up, then we're not going to be able to achieve those objectives. Medicaid right now is now $1 trillion higher baseline than when we came in under Biden. We are spending
Yeah, so there you have it. Not a big fan of the big, beautiful mess. Central to the GOP package, of course, he mentions the $5 trillion in tax cuts, according to the Joint Committee on Taxation. Those costs that are partially offset by spending cuts elsewhere and other changes in the tax code. So that's the latest on that bill. They're going to try and get it passed. Again, Mike Johnson is out there going to try and do it by Memorial Day there, Damon.
CFTB.org today has a big piece on this bill. House reconciliation bill would massively increase near-term deficits. Near-term, meaning the ones we're dealing with now. The House is continuing to mark up its reconciliation legislation, which we estimate would add $3.3 trillion to the debt, including interest, or $5.2 trillion if its temporary provisions are made permanent, in part because new borrowing is front-loaded and offsets are back-loaded. The bill would add massively to near-term deficits.
Yeah, definitely not a good look for the big, beautiful bill. I don't know if you saw this as well. I'm kind of jumping off the seashells thing, right? How we saw James Comey put his finger on the scales of justice along with everybody underneath him in trying to take out the president during his first term. Here is, check this out, CNN. One of their commentators actually admits that this is part of this strategy. It was wrapped up in their strategy, and I guess this kind of falls in line when you look at James Comey and Lisa Page and the other guys. Everything that they did was probably part of the same plan, which is to take out Donald Trump. Here it is, cut number 7, as Scott Jennings nails the Democrat for admitting lawfare against Trump was an actual Democrat plot. Here's cut 7.
Are mad. Why the base is mad at some of the leaders in Washington is not because they're not left enough. It's because, Chuck Schumer came out with no strategy, no forewarning, and just said, we're going to fold on the CR. I mean, I think he could have done a better job of explaining what the strategy was and what we're going to do, but there wasn't anything like that. I think Democrats are learning, and I'm going to agree with you, that Democrats cannot only be the party of resistance. We cannot, we resisted so hard between 2017 and 2024. We impeached the guy, we prosecuted him, convicted him of 34 felony counts, and guess what? He still got elected. So I don't know how much harder we can resist now.
Are you admitting that that the case against Trump in New York was part of the organized Democratic Party resistance?
It was a Democratic prosecutor, and at the time, I said I thought it was unwise. I went on Fox News and said
there were Democrats who said this at the time.
There were a lot.
Just to be clear, everybody who now touts the 34 felonies, take it from Liz. This was not a real case. This was a plot to upend the presidential campaign, which backfired.
I just think it was a boneheaded move by Alvin Bragg, but it's not his first or last one. So.
This is why we invite Liz, because she's a plain-spoken New York Paul.
Yeah, she's a real genius.
Right. She probably won't be invited back.
Fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we invite her.
If this was
sound like that.
If this was the Gong Show, she would have got the big baboon.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
She would have.
And last one here, Damon. The Wisconsin judge, you remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Judge
yeah.
Hannah Dugan. Check out this. Wisconsin
Hide and
judge
seek.
argues prosecutors can't charge her with helping a man evade immigration agents. She claims to have some type of legal immunity. Believe it or not, the Wisconsin judge charged with helping that man who were trying, when U.S. agents were trying to detain him at her courthouse, filed a motion to dismiss, arguing that there's no legal basis for it. Attorneys for the Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan argue in their motion that her conduct on the day in question amounted to directing people's movement in and around her courtroom. Directing them. Saying you could go stand there. No. What she did was, hey, guys, come with me. Follow me. We'll go out the back door.
Yeah, in the front door, out the back.
Right. And that she enjoys legal immunity for official acts that she performs as a judge. I guess helping someone avoid justice or deportation agents constitutes acts as a judge. They cite last year's U.S. Supreme Court ruling. They're trying to make the inference that Donald Trump's 2020 election interference case that was found that presidents have absolute immunity from prosecution. Well, that's the same thing as judges, David. So, what the president enjoys, all judges should enjoy that type of immunity as well. And they are presumed entitled to immunity for all official acts. Believe it or not. This is the road they're going to try and go down with the Wisconsin judge.
Well, what other road can they go down? Honestly. All right, 42 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Paul Nolan's got some news. When we get back right after this, Aaron and Fran holding it down. More sports with Slick coming up as well. We're back. 3 minutes. Stay right there.
Well, they want to hear that. They're tired of hearing all the other stuff.
Well, they should just we should just have them direct the show. Can one of them take Fran's seat?
Don't tempt Fran.
Yeah, don't tempt Fran.
I'm already getting up. Well, who's coming up?
Fran already started his car.
Wait, what are you talking about?
No, just the chat is giving us the business.
About what?
I don't know. I wasn't really listening.
Trump's trip in the Middle East today. No, we have stuff on that today.
Well, what about it?
It was a continuation. There was more good news coming
Were
out.
there more clips today? There were more clips for her, right?
You got to see the way they escorted him to dinner. It was pretty wild.
Everybody's in love with Qatar now. It's great.
Was it Qatar or the UAE they were in today?
I thought he spoke with the. I thought he was in Qatar, but
Exactly, Cookie Roddy. I have diplomatic immunity. It's been revoked. See what I did there? I did Danny Glover. It could be tomorrow there already, though. Right?
no, it's.
I think
it's like
they're 7 hours ahead.
3 and 4 in the morning right now.
Yeah, so it's tomorrow there.
Technically, because that's past midnight. Yes.
Right. So I'm right. Red Dog G65 says Buc-ee's isn't just a store, it's an experience.
It's a way of life.
That's
It's an
nice.
experience. I can't wait to go to my first Buc-ee's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
When
like
the,
to go
when
there
the
too,
buck you going to go there?
See how it stacks up against the sheets.
Well, the sheets ain't got a sheet on them. Are you kidding me?
I don't know about that. I think it's two different kinds of things. I think it's two totally different worlds.
Could be. Susie321 says UAE, he got a great reception. Everybody was yelling and waving American flags. And they lit up the building like the American flag as well. I saw that on X. That was a pretty cool picture. A huge skyscraper with the American flag draped on it in lights. Oh, I got to do Damon's follow-up.
Yeah.
Almost forgot about that. Thank you, RX Lefty.
RX Lefty.
Got to do what?
Your follow-up.
Hey, how about our? All right, 13 to the hour live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice all across the country, all across the world, actually. And, of course, here on Long Island on the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights, 8 to 10. And we do appreciate the opportunity to be there from all the good people at JVC Broadcasting. 103.9 LI News right here in Suffolk County. And if you're listening on 103.9 LI News right now, of course, you can hear the Kevin Downey Jr. show weekday mornings, 9 to 11 here as well. But if you want to come down to the America First Warehouse tomorrow night, see us in person.
Come down.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
The America First Warehouse, not too far from JVC Broadcasting, where you're listening to 103.9 LI News. If you want to come, send me an email. LFS6P@yahoo.com. Say, Big D, I'm coming down to the warehouse. Going to get a steak sandwich and then going to come in and see you boys.
Come on in.
Tear it on up. So send me an email to LFS. You don't have to speak in that stupid voice.
Why
You
not?
can just send me an email.
Constipated cowboy.
LFS6P@yahoo.com and tell us how many people are coming.
Oh, come on.
And it's going to be good.
sounds like a certain football NFL team owner.
And then
Going to strip club.
going to the strip club.
Bring the cigar bar.
Going to America First Warehouse, Nick.
Jerry. And then after the show's over, we'll smoke a cigar and
Aaron's on board for that.
break out the Pelosi Balvenie and make a night of it.
Live from Studio 6, Stogie.
Yeah, so
That's going to be our name.
all right, let's do the news with Paul Nolan. He's got some things that have caught his attention in the news. Mr. Nolan, what's going on?
Well, I liked what I saw from Josh Hawley. I don't know if you guys played that clip, but I have it for tonight. You know, he blasted the pharmacy benefit managers, otherwise known as PBMs.
PBMs. Oh, yeah.
You know, and I know Slick Rick was in that business for 30 years. He grilled the Pharmaceutical Care Association president J.C. Scott, questioning why Americans are paying 422% more than other countries for the same brand name prescription drugs. And he said, you're supposed to be making drugs more affordable for consumers. Would you say that you're succeeding? Before he answered his own question, he said, I think you guys are looking for is no. And he said, either you guys are the worst negotiators in history of the world or something is wrong with your business model. And he really went on to say the three biggest pharmacy benefit managers own 80% of the market. And he went on to say that how local pharmacies are being shut down one by one because of the corporate structure.
One of them put me. Yeah, Paul. Thanks for that. Yeah, Paul. One of them put me out of business. Actually, yep. They forced my CVS bought a prescription PBM called Caremark. This happened about 8 years ago, and people were forced to either mail their prescriptions out of state, which is an inconvenience for a lot of people, or they had to go into their local CVS. But they could not shop in any other pharmacy. Not mine. Not a Walgreens. They were forced. I lost 30% of my clients, and that totally crippled me, and I had to sell my business. And that's the reason why I exited the industry. It was a blessing because I'm here on the show and doing other things with my life, but I spent 33 years in that industry, and I got to tell you, people were devastated when that store closed in my community.
This, to me, is the antithesis of a Jeffersonian open market. This is the absolute corporate structure that is just destroying the middleman, taking out the middle class, and small business mom and pops getting killed. Hey, can you run that clip for me, Aaron?
I'm glad you say we need competition, because don't you think the competition we really need is to break up this alliance between insurance companies and PBMs?
No, sir.
The biggest 3 PBMs are owned by the biggest insurance companies. You're like one huge, giant pharma industry, a giant pharma series of monopolists, right? Why is it a good idea for the biggest PBMs to be owned by the biggest insurers, and now you're buying up pharmacies as well? Why should we allow that? Why should insurance companies, PBMs, also own pharmacies?
So
How is that good for patients?
Conflict.
It's good for patients and for plans because it's creating optionality in the market.
It's creating optionality. In the state of Missouri, just last year, we lost 73 independent pharmacies across my state in 19 different counties. Do you know that 2 entire counties in the state of Missouri now have, wait for it, 0 pharmacies? 0. Now, you are making $7.3 billion, you and the companies that you represent, and yet 2 whole counties in the state of Missouri have no pharmacies, 73 closed last year. Why shouldn't we be breaking you guys up? I mean, this looks like classic monopolist behavior. The patients are getting screwed, Missourians are getting screwed, you're getting rich.
Respectfully, Senator, you keep citing a gross revenue number of the drug, every dollar spent on prescription drugs.
You don't have profits?
Profits are in the low single digits on
your profits are not better than they've ever been?
I don't know on the trend over the years.
Yes, you
but
do. You know exactly. It is all laid out in the FTC report. You absolutely know the answer. Your profits have increased and increased and increased, and now you are buying up pharmacies, and you're buying up pharmacies, and you're putting independent pharmacies out of business, and you're doing it deliberately because you are giving special rebates and lower costs to the pharmacies that you own, and you are directing patients to the pharmacies that you own, such that if they don't go to a pharmacy that you own, they have to pay higher costs, they have to pay out-of-network costs, right? You're nodding your head, Dr. McGonigal. You've lived this, right?
I have lived this. I live it every day. Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
So, 100%. Mr. Scott, why don't we break you guys up? Can you agree? I mean, if you believe in competition, you just said a second ago, we need more competition, by golly. Well, let's do it. And let's break up the PBM. Let's pass a law that says PBMs cannot own pharmacies. You for that?
No, sir. And we've seen that competition grow in the last 5 years by 18% in the PBM market, by 9% in the last 2 years.
Wait a minute. You've seen the number of pharmacies grow in this country?
The number of PBMs, meaning it's a competitive marketplace.
It's not a competitive marketplace. The biggest 3 PBMs
own 80%. So full of beans.
So, I mean, this is what, this is the kind of thing that just
he gave a lie detector test, he'd be electrocuted.
Oh, right.
You know what this sounds like?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. You don't even want to get me going in this world.
Well, actually, I did.
No, I think we do, actually.
No, I really did this. Honestly, this clip came, and all I want to do is get your opinion on this.
Changed my life
especially
entirely.
Because you have such a history with it, and you have a history of politics. Just think about what this. Do you not see this as a gigantic, unstoppable corporate takeover of the working man and the small business?
Josh Hawley started this yesterday that it came to my attention, and I've been enthralled with this. I love what he's doing. I think it's fantastic, and I really hope he can expose these people. Let's see if they can execute on this. We're talking massive dollars. We're talking threats. I mean, it goes very deep.
And you couldn't compete, right? It was just impossible.
No, they literally cut my hands off. Period. That's it. They put me out of business. They took 30% of my clients. They forced them basically with I want to say a gun to a head. That's a little extreme. But they basically told me, you can go to Rick's Pharmacy and pay for your prescription. Guy's going to get heart medication for $400. He's going to pay because I'm a good guy. No. or you got to mail away out of state, or go to a CVS, because we have a CVS in just about every zip code on Long Island, which is our market. And I lost 30% of my clientele. It completely crippled my business. I subsidized that business personally for 2 years, and after 2 years, my poor wife said, "You're going to bankrupt us. We can no longer continue." I was losing $10,000 a month in the business. It was a big store. It was an 8,000 square foot store. Served the community since 1975. Till all the way up to 2018. I was there from 85 to 2018. 33 years. I thought I'd retire in that business. They just continued to nick away at our profits, squeeze us. They couldn't kill us that way. So what they do? They took us out. CVS never should have. And I went to a congressman at the time, but this is 15 years ago. And I won't say who it was on Long Island. He said, "We don't have enough juice to do anything, Rick, with this."
Terrible.
Because I said, "Isn't this like a restraint of trade? You're forcing somebody to go to a pharmacy or mail out of state, and you're messing with people's health. We're not buying tiddlywinks over here. We're not buying car tires or anything like that. Those are important. We're dealing with people's medication, their lives, critical, sometimes life and death. Is it that extreme? Yes, it is. So, I can go on and on about this, but quite frankly, it was one of the biggest injustices in small business history, and I was a victim of that.
Well, I could speak for most of the audience. I miss having a mom and pop pharmacy.
Sure you do.
I really miss having a relationship with my pharmacist, because you always got great advice from him.
And by the way, we worked on about a 16% gross profit, so we weren't exactly killing it. It was all based on volume.
Rich doing that.
But damn, if we didn't know everybody's name and everybody's issue, we took care of them like gold. Yeah, I can get fired up about this. Sorry.
Rightfully so.
Slickster coming in hot.
Well, you took out.
Hey, we still have one in.
Completely rerouted my life financially.
All right, hour 2 coming up. Live from Studio 6B right after this.
They can't get the same prices.
We owned a pharmacy on North Country Road.
Area. But the guy who owns Moby Drugs owns the...
Like if I go to stage...
Right. But what happened is that we weren't allowed to participate in these plans. That's what killed my business. In other words, I was knocked out of that. You couldn't, if you had CVS Caremark, you could not go to my pharmacy. You couldn't even go to Walgreens. You couldn't go to any other pharmacy but a CVS store or mail away. Now, I don't know if CVS, they're pretty much a national company. I mean, they're just about in every state. I don't know. There might be some states that still have some small independents, but it was just, it was unsustainable. Let's put it that way. Some pharmacies have found a way to continue to go on. God bless them. I root for them all every day, but it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
In our little town of Farmingdale on Main Street, the mayor owns the building, and he's been there for 40 years.
Right.
So he's on thin margins, but he owns the building. He's the end user. He's not paying
rent is
massive
probably
rent.
your number.
He's only paying property taxes. That's why he can survive. Otherwise, he said he'd be done too.
Yeah, it's really sad, and certainly in the New York market, it's become tougher and tougher. Again, there are still some independents. There's one in my town who's done well, but his store is the size of a shoebox. My store was 8,000 square feet, so that's the other thing. When you have a big rent and a big overhead.
Remember when I first met you?
Well, yes, Friendly Drugs. Yeah.
My buddy Donna, who I went to high school with, she saw us on the show together. She goes, "How in God's name do you know, Rick?" I'm like, "We do politics together," and like we met through the show through Damon.
Yeah.
And she's like, "He's the nicest guy in the whole wide world."
True story.
I remember. I
love people.
Donna and her family loved you.
Yeah, I love people.
And they're really good people.
I do.
Yeah, so stories like this suck. It's just
you know what that sounds like though? It sounds like BlackRock buying up all the houses.
Yeah,
right.
Not just that. Now BlackRock's buying up all the HVAC small mom and pop companies, and they're cornering the market on heating and cooling, and they're buying up every little, and they want to keep their mom and pop look to them. It's crazy. All prices of HVACs are going up by 25%. Stupid.
Greg Blacker with another $5 super chat. Democrats and the left used to pose as for small businesses and hated the giant corporations. That changed in the Obama years. Now it's all flipped. That is true. That
True
really
story.
did change. That's a true story. Back in the early 2000s, that's where it all flipped.
That's 100% true.
100%.
All right, live from Studio 6B, Hour 2 on a Thursday night, May 15th, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Real America's Voice all across the country. 103.9 LI News Radio all across Long Island, Suffolk County. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick Rick's here. He's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan has got some more news coming up. Aaron and Fran right there in your lower right-hand box of your Hollywood Squares, holding it down as always. Remember, tomorrow night, are we going to debut the new 6-box at the America First Warehouse tomorrow night, Aaron, or what?
We can try.
Oh.
Yeah, we will.
I'll actually have a box on the show again.
Okay, so what?
I got deboxed on the show because I understand we can only have so many of us on there.
Yeah.
I wanted to set up a cam at the bar. Big Slick Rick.
A Slick Rick bar?
I'm running up a tab on Big D. Put it on Big D's tab.
I got some stuff working.
No Tito's. We're on Grey Goose.
Obviously.
As long as the steaks are on your tab, you can put the drinks on mine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's a good deal.
What about all these super chats? I got more steaks than a witch hunt.
I was going to say a vampire killer.
Lots to do in Hour 2. We will be at the America First Warehouse tomorrow night. And if you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio and you're here on Long Island, not in Long Island, on Long Island, we would love to see you there. So you can send me an email at lfs6b@yahoo.com. If you want to come down, just let us know. Give us your name and how many people are coming. We'll get you on the LFS6B guest list for tomorrow night. So send me an email, lfs6b@yahoo.com, and let us know that you want to come down. So, all right, we'll get to, let's do a little more news, and we didn't do sports in the fourth segment. So let's do some more news with Paul Nolan, because he only did the one story, and then Slick got going, which was great.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I brought this story here because I was dying to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we continue this. I could take the gloves off a little bit right now on this, so I feel a little bit better.
Somebody
talking
get him
about this.
martini.
I've been holding back for years for obvious reasons that you guys know.
All right, do you have some names you'd like to first call out before you start getting? Is there anybody you'd like to speak to directly?
Nah, I'm not one of those kind of guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want to contact an attorney first?
No, there's nobody directly. You know what? I gave you the name.
Do you want to put a message in the beach?
CVS
For
was
someone to see.
CVS was really, for me, that was and a lot of people thought that CVS put us out of business because we couldn't compete with them in terms of, price and service and whatnot. No, it wasn't the case. We weren't allowed to compete. You lose 30% of your clientele, you're done. You are done, especially with a big operation. There was no way. I mean, I employed 25 people. They had great
that
jobs.
vertical alignment makes it impossible for you to compete.
Yeah, it wiped out all the profit. I'll tell you, my operating expenses were about $120,000 a month, and I stood on my head, and I could only get about $110,000. So I was falling short $10,000 every month, and it was just that little bit makes the difference.
So,
all right, let's do some more news. Paul, what else has caught your attention?
Well,
Anything else Slick can get fired up about, or?
Yeah,
or Delgado or me?
Apparently there's a vodka shortage in America.
Don't tell Pelosi.
Man.
Don't even
Talk
get me
about getting
started on
goosed. That's Mother Goose.
Don't
Where
tell
are you?
Pelosi.
President, she's got a stockpile in
Or she has it all, that's
in
why,
her
yeah.
7 refrigerators.
Oh, man. She cornered the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so President Trump said on Thursday regarding the Ukraine-Russian talks in Turkey that nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together. President Trump made these comments when Zelensky arrived in Turkey for peace talks with Russia on Thursday regarding the ongoing war between the two countries. But Russian President Vladimir Putin chose not to attend and sent a lower-level delegation. And Trump went on to say, look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? He went on to say, and obviously he wasn't going to go. He wasn't going to go. I thought I was going to go. Then I wasn't sure if he was going to go, and he went back and forth on that clip, which made the left extremely happy. But I speak Trump, and I understood what he was saying. they don't need to. They don't need to go on and on until they meet face to face. But I know that the audience has been asking about this whole thing with Qatar and the United Arab Emirates and now Syria, and this to me is a big discussion. Have you guys covered a lot of this so far, or has there been any discussion about this last night?
Yes, but go ahead. Yeah. What's on your mind?
So for me, like the way the first thing I thought about was the only way there's ever going to be peace between these nations, and let's be honest, I mean, again, I've talked about it a million times. The project for the new American century was extremely dangerous, and it was completely destructive. And to me, it was a forced plan by the neocons, the Wolfowitzes, Zygmunt Brzezinski, the Bushes, the Cheneys, and all those guys. They knew that if they can have endless war, they can have endless control of oil and fuel. And I just felt like it was a terrible way for Americans to die over in the Middle East. So for me, to see this done, I like the idea of calling it commerce over chaos. And that's what I see is going to happen here. You know, everybody's afraid of the U.S. and our might. Don't act like they're not. Everybody in the Middle East wants peace. They want commerce. We've played the role that everybody over there is the boogeyman, and that's been what we've all been taught and force-fed since the late 80s, all through the 90s and all through the Bush regimes and, and even the Clintons and Obama went haywire and he doubled down on all of it. So to me, when you look at what he's done with Saudi Arabia and what's going on with Boeing, Boeing's going to, do $200 billion in business on 787s and 747s. And, the Saudis promised over $600 million, investment in the United States, another 130 buying arms from us. There's a lot of commerce going on. And that's the only way, in my opinion, we're ever going to see any kind of peace in the Middle East. And the only way to avoid war. Right. And now if he can start schmoozing his way through this and they don't play him, which I don't think Trump will get played. To me, the biggest thing here is if he can get the Middle East, especially Saudis, to pump a ton more oil and gas prices come down, that completely obliterates all of Putin's income. And it changes his negotiating leverage at the table. So I think there's a lot to be said about what's going on here. And I know everybody's probably concerned about, like I heard you make a comment, everybody loves Qatar now. I just think everybody should love the idea of business first and war second, possibly, because there's just been way too many, to me, non-combatants, women, children, and American sons and daughters, our bravest and most loyal, dead for really other people getting rich. And when I see these war hawk talking tough on TV, well, put your kid on the front line, tough guy. Go. You go. I'm so sick of hearing people talking so tough, so brave from their comfy couch in their $17 million house. Because that's not tough guy stuff. That's BS. You're not a tough guy until you're on the front line or you're putting a flag on your kid's box. I'm so sick of these fake tough guys talking, we got to kill them all. It's nonsense. It's not real. We've been conditioned and tricked into believing the only way for us to ever get anywhere is through murdering innocent people. And I just love the way Trump has gone about this. This, to me, I can't wait to see this play out. I think he's done a phenomenal job here. I'm beyond impressed how ambitious this tour has been.
I think some of the people that talk about Qatar specifically and the endless money that they spend to infiltrate the U.S. as far as the universities go, colleges go, other things. I saw this from the Free Press. Qatar spends nearly $100 billion to buy influence in the U.S., Congress, universities, media outlets, think tanks, corporations. Here's where the money goes and what it buys. Universities. Qatar is the largest foreign funder of American higher education, the largest. It has spent $6.3 billion since 1986, more than China, more than Saudi Arabia. Top recipients, Georgetown, $760 million. Cornell, $1.8 billion. Texas A&M, $700 million. Northwestern, $600 million. All of those schools have satellite campuses in Doha.
Yeah.
Qatar's gifts come with strings. Georgetown's Doha campus canceled a debate on whether God should be portrayed as a woman after backlash on Arabic social media. Blasphemy is punishable by 7 years in prison in Qatar. K through 12 schools. Qatar Foundation International has given tens of millions to U.S. public schools to fund Arabic programs. Recipients include the New York City DOE, 1 million plus, and Minneapolis public school districts. One classroom funded by QFI displayed a map of the Arab world that omitted Israel. Media. Qatar has funneled millions into U.S. media organizations, $50 million to Newsmax, $180,000 to conservative radio host John Fredericks, $570,000 on digital ads after October 7, 2023 to improve its image, including $170K to the NYT and Clear Channel Outdoor, $110,000 to the parent company of the Wall Street Journal. Al Jazeera, Qatar's state-funded media empire, banned in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Jordan, reaches 430 million people worldwide. It hosted top Muslim Brotherhood figures and aired flattering coverage of Hamas. The Israel military says at least 6 Al Jazeera journalists are active members of Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Think tanks from 2019 to 2023, Qatar gave $9 million to Washington-based policy shops. Brookings Institute, they got 6. Stimson Center, 2.3. Middle East Institute, $380K. Lobbying. Qatar has spent $225 million on lobbying in D.C. 35 registered lobbyists spent $51.4 million. That's 2 times what Saudi Arabia and 3 times more than Israel spent that year. Some of the U.S. officials closest to Trump have financial or lobbying ties to Qatar. Pam Bondi, Susie Wiles, Kash Patel, Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump Jr., the Qatar Economic Forum speaker. And it goes on and on and on. So I think when people talk about Qatar, I think these are the things that they talk about, that they are no friend to us.
Yeah, but there's, without a doubt. No, but what's the best way to stop? So make it illegal for one. How much money comes in from China? I would love to challenge these numbers and maybe expand on this, because the amount of money China has in terms of, and influence through Hollywood, through television, through, New York Times. We saw how many fake articles China ran through. All of it's corrupted. And you look at schools like Georgetown. Georgetown is probably the most corrupt school, even more so than Harvard, Penn, Yale. I mean, these are constant, everything about these schools are propagandized, brainwashing, and they're recruitment centers for the next, young communists coming up. I mean, the whole thing is mangled. Stop all that money coming in. And yet our taxpayer money is still going to these kind of schools too. I mean, it's insane how much money these schools bring in. All of it's corrupt. It's all disgusting. I mean, Epstein had his own office at Harvard.
Yeah,
how is that possible?
That's crazy.
I mean, these schools are the money they'll take from anyone. So I like the idea of Trump going through commerce over chaos. Let's see what he can do with it. And, in my opinion, it's the endless war has to stop.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do when we get back right after this.
Chat. Lots of love in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. That's my passion. I usually keep my mouth a little zipped on stuff like that, but I just It's time to start unloading. I'm glad to see Josh Hawley bringing this to the surface. Boy, that you talk about a swamp. You watch what's going to come out of this. And if they could, that's going to be some conglomerate to break up the monopoly. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be tough, but we'll see what they can do. We got the president there for 4 years. I know he's not a big fan of Big Pharma, that's for sure. I know he's not.
Child of the King buying steaks. You might want to roll on this one.
Child of the King, come on. Oh, Big D. I'm not running no tab tomorrow night. Child of the King. I like to pitch in for steak sandwiches tomorrow. Damon and crew. Yes, all of you can. Chat. Loves you all. $100 super chat from our girl.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, she's something
I'll
else.
take care of my steaks.
Love
what are
her.
you going to do for Slick?
I know, that's 3 steaks for Big D. $28 a pop. Pop. Thank you, Child of the King. I'm going to have
they really
so
that
much,
that
Child of
much?
the King.
Actually, Joe the Box bought us steaks last week, if I'm not mistaken, and that was awfully sweet.
I think he sent Damon a bill, though.
Oh, did he? Okay.
No, I'm only
Joe
kidding.
wouldn't do it.
That was so nice of him.
Joe
Not
wouldn't
just
do that.
How about like all the stogies he paid for, right? I mean, that was a
I tell you, they're
generous-
very hospitable. I mean, you really should come down. I think we have a few people flying in from other parts of the country tomorrow night.
Yeah, we might be meeting Ed Martin.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I listened to him on Tucker today.
Wrong Ed Martin.
Oh, that Ed Martin is coming. That'd be great.
I'd like to meet him too, by the way. He follows us on social media.
Does he?
I'm going to tell you,
We got
man,
2 Ed
he was
Martins.
great on Tucker. That was
he?
My favorite
I didn't see
Martins.
I love how Tucker plays dumb. He's like,
he's great at
he's
that.
so
He's
great
one of
at
the
get-
best.
Like he's like,
so
oh,
good.
it sounds like incompetence. Do you think it could be?
He's so
you
good
know,
at
meanwhile,
that.
he knows exactly what.
Oh,
it is.
he leads them down a path, man, like nobody. He's fantastic.
So anyway, I'm looking forward.
Well,
to
that's how you
tomorrow.
call somebody something without calling them something.
Yeah, it's just so.
Man, how
he
much steak?
crafts it so well. We got in the chat, Chris NC in the chat. Les Bulldorum.
Yep.
My girl Sue, how you doing? Child of the King as always. David Lucero, Moon Pie.
Drag Blacker with another $5
Chris
super
Allen,
chat. Thank you.
Jesus.
Jesus Perez.
All right, Sound Like the Blues on a Thursday night. Let me talk to you about our friends over at the Wellness Company. Boy, we had Dr. Thorpe on last night. And I mean, could the timing of our discussion have been any more fortuitous? I was wondering if RFK Jr. was watching the show last night and saw Dr. Thorpe drop a hot mic on top of his head, as he did when I brought up the fact that the mRNA vaccines have not been pulled from the childhood vaccines. And he, of course, went off on how pregnant people as well. Well, 24 hours later, guess what happened today?
Whoop.
Yanked.
Yeah.
Off the market for children and for pregnant women. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm claiming that RFK Jr. was watching my interview with...
Oh, he totally was.
But I think he was. And said, you know what? Dr. Thorpe just dropped, boom, the fire on me. It's time to get going here.
We could talk to our mutual source and find out if you want.
It's a new day in America and a new administration in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of excitement and optimism about the future, but the reality is there's a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to fixing that broken healthcare system. The truth is that the forces that are responsible for breaking our healthcare system aren't going to simply go away. The challenges our system faces won't disappear overnight. Now more than ever, you need to be prepared, and that's, of course, where the Wellness Company comes in. Their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust, and their line of prescription medical kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications. So from flu to strep throat, from COVID to bird flu, from a trip to a beach to a trip to overseas, the Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part. Protect the health of you and your family. Go to www.twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice today in order. That's twc.health/voice. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. They sponsor sports. What's going on, Slickster?
All right, Big D, back to the scoreboard. NHL playoffs heating up. Here we go. Game 5 East, second round in D.C. Capitals and Hurricanes continue to be tied at 1. 12:36 to go in the third period. Oh, wow, what a great game. Obviously, the Capitals in a must-win situation, trailing 3-1. Carolina looking to close it out and move on to the East Conference Finals. And the Jets and Stars, that's a good one coming out up in Winnipeg at 9:30 p.m. Puck drop over on TNT. Game 5, Dallas leading that series 3-1. Winnipeg also, like the Capitals, at home in a must-win situation. That should be a dogfight, that game. And Thunder and Nuggets getting it on. Right now, the Nuggets are up by 5, 37-32. 9 to go there in the second quarter. Jamal Murray for Denver leads all scorers with 11. He's 4 of 6 from the field. That's a West semifinals, Game 6. OKC leads that series 3-2. Another team at home on the verge of elimination. Teams at home on the verge of elimination are very dangerous, so I think the Knicks better close things out tomorrow night for their sakes because they don't want to go to Boston in a Game 7, that's for sure.
So I know you guys were talking about when the Knicks were up 2-0. They were -5.5. D calls me up and he's like, that's got to be the freest money, the biggest lock I've ever seen over sports. And look at him like, that can't be right. Right away, I had to follow Big D. I jumped on that. And I was like, I'm thinking, okay, they lose that game, and now they're down 2-1. They still got a game at home. They were -300 to win the series.
That was crazy.
Vegas is telling you they have no chance.
Hey, Big D's been calling that, all week when you were out.
And then Tatum goes down, and you think, all right, here we go.
Here you go up to 500.
The series price with the Knicks up 3-1 and Tatum out was still -300.
Couldn't believe it.
It's that just tells you.
I mean, it's just.
So if the Knicks win the series, guys, you guys are the basketball experts. If the Knicks find a way to win, is it clear sailing to the finals?
I mean, it should be. I mean, I don't think it'll be in 4 games, but if they can't beat Indiana,
they'll beat Indiana.
Celtics
Indiana plays
team
0
in the East,
defense.
right?
Not some defense, 0 defense.
But Big D said, but those West teams are going to be licking their chops because I think either one of them, the Knicks are not going to be able to get past.
That's what I was asking.
Minnesota
could run backwards and beat the Knicks.
Yeah, and OKC could as well. I don't know. But Denver's another good team. Denver will be the one team I think they might have a chance if they can control Jokic, but I don't know. Then a guy like Murray steps up and kills you. So, you just don't know. The West teams are so strong as they have been for many years, although Boston did win it last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So Boston was really the only team from the East that could have won. With Tatum.
Yeah, I was surprised at Cleveland getting exited so quickly.
I don't think a team from the East could have won.
Yeah, not this year.
But they were the best chance, is what I'm saying.
Defending champions, you got to give them that. But I think they would have lost this year.
Last 6 games, Knicks are 4-2 versus the Timberwolves.
I think I believe the Knicks are going to close it out tomorrow night. I really do in the Garden. I think they have to, and I think that they will. I think Brunson's going to have 40, and they're going to roll. I really do. That Garden's going to be on fire tomorrow night. Woof.
Yeah, definitely.
And some sad news in the wrestling world. Legendary WWE announcer Jim Ross announces cancer diagnosis. This is Warner Todd Houston of Breitbart. Legendary wrestler commentator Jim Ross has told fans that he has colon cancer and is soon to undergo a life-saving operation. TMZ reported that the AEW announcer informed fans in a post on X on Thursday that he has surgery scheduled in a few weeks. I appreciate your concern and support, Russ said in a post. The colon cancer is just one more medical problem the 73-year-old has faced over the years. Ross has also suffered from Bell's palsy, skin cancer, respiratory issues, and a hip operation. Ross's wife passed in March of 2017 after falling from her Vespa and was then hit by a car that was driving behind her on the road. She suffered multiple skull fractures and did not recover from the emergency surgery. So very sad. I mean, I know we have a lot of wrestling fans, Big D, in the chat and watch the show, and just some sad news. So we wish him well. We always hate to hear that story when that ugly cancer rears its ugly head. Well, let's talk about the Cincinnati Reds. Reds fans celebrate Pete Rose after Major League Baseball's decision. They said he's our Babe Ruth, and that is true. The entire city of Cincinnati similarly paid their respects to Rose on Wednesday. Ryan Gatos of Fox News. I wish they would have paid their respect to the win column, but that's asking way too much, right? anyway, the Cincinnati Reds paid tribute to Pete Rose on Wednesday night, one day after Major League Baseball removed the old-time hits leader and others from the permanently ineligible list. Reds fans packed the city en route to Great American Ballpark to watch the team celebrate one of the best players in the franchise's history, as he will get a chance to have a plaque in Cooperstown, New York, in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Chants of Pete were heard throughout the park. The stadium held a pregame moment of silence, and a choir from Rose's High School in Cincinnati performed the national anthem. Now, how cool is that? Fans wore Rose jerseys, and highlights were shown on the video board throughout the game. It was awesome, Pete Rose Jr. said of the ceremony via MLB.com. It's home. These are all friends and family. I drove 15 minutes from home to get to the ballpark. I will drive 15 minutes back. I try to explain to people they don't really get the aspect of Dad being here. I try to tell them he's our Babe Ruth. If you are from here, he's our Babe Ruth. He added that the family could not have asked for a better night. Rose was placed on the ineligible list after we went into all that story before, but in his final interview, that he would only get into the Hall of Fame after he died. It's a prophecy that took one step closer to reality on Tuesday. So that was Rose's dying wish, obviously, to get into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he's got a rough road to climb. They need 12 out of 16 votes, and I told you last night there was a poll saying only 61% feel Pete Rose deserves to get into the Hall of Fame. These are Major League Baseball poll that was done, and so I think it's going to be very interesting how they vote. You got a lot of baseball purists out there, but I think you got to let bygones be bygones. The man was the all-time leading hitter in Major League Baseball history. More hits than anybody, even more than Ty Cobb.
He was a winner.
A winner. Charlie Hustle, 1975 World Series MVP, one of the greatest to do it, 1973 NL MVP as well. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More news with Delgado and Paul Nolan, all coming up right after this.
To go there, but it's delicious. Yes, correct. Yep, great place. I mean, I've never seen the rooms, but I've done like some conferences there. Clean, nice. The Rap Mods stayed there when they were here. They said it was nice.
Did they?
Yeah. Yep. The young lady and the family they stayed there. Matt Miller, I'll have the list ready when the show is over. Make it long, Matt. What do we got going on? Super chat. We got any super chats?
Actually, Ratchet, in the Rumble chat, you're wrong. Not all the juicers from the 90s are in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's a different. The PEDs. Not to say
we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, although
Bonds isn't in.
There's going to be an argument for that someday too.
Yeah,
Rick.
there will
I do
be.
believe. I think we're just getting over gambling. I don't know that you're ever going to be. MGM Bet. All these. They're all over the place now.
Yeah.
They sponsor all the sports. Come on, it's totally hypocritical.
And all these guys these days are probably microdosing, so you never get busted anyway. Anyhow.
That was nice that Child of the King pitched in for the steak sandwiches.
Oh my goodness, we're going to eat well.
We are going to eat well. We got to. Big D, they get there at 5:15. They're going to start. Have those steaks fired up and ready at 6:30. I want to pregame with my steak. I'm going to get my steak on. I'm going to get my drink on.
What do I look like, the chef?
Listen, you are the host,
You're
man.
the concierge.
I have
You are
Make it happen.
the food truck.
Make it so.
Well, let's get somebody on that. Come on. All right, Delgado
so.
and I will handle it. We'll handle it.
Make it so.
Baby J, Slick Rick, what color are your boots? Well, they're
Take a
very
wild
interesting.
guess.
I don't think anybody could get. No, I don't think anybody could guess these shoes tonight. They won't get it.
No.
Really?
They're not the pink. No, they're not the obvious. I didn't go obvious today. No Captain Obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. How'd you know?
That's what I would.
But they're not exactly white.
They're not white.
They're not-
Regina Muser on Facebook. Hello. Slick looks young because he has been preserved by vodka.
Hey, big.
Slick doesn't even really drink, do you?
No, I'm not a big drinker. I like social drinking. I love that. But listen, I could go a week, 2 weeks without a drink. You know what I love? Mocktails. Give me
Drag
a nice-
Blacker wants to know if I'm going to get Woody's catering for the show.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. All right, 30 minutes past the hour. Live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Glad you're in.
Good thing.
Slick Rick is going to do some more sports. Let me know when that's ready. Rick Delgado is going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's going to squeeze some more news in as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. On a Thursday, Real America's Voice all across the country. And, of course, on the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. And if you're on Long Island, I got a bunch of emails came in already. If you're on Long Island, you can hear my voice on 103.9 LI News Radio. And you want to come down to the America First Warehouse tomorrow night.
Come on down.
Oh, man, it's going to be a fun one in front of a live studio audience. Again, as we do every Friday, come on down. Send me an email if you want to attend. LFS6B@yahoo.com. Had a bunch of people ask me for what's a nice hotel in the area, so I sent that to some people as well. So send me an email, LFS6B@yahoo.com, if you want to come down to the America First Warehouse. And see
you
us.
didn't give them the one with the hourly rate, right?
No, I didn't give them like I gave them the nice, the Hilton whatever there. It's nice.
Oh, no, the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah, the Hilton
Very
Garden Inn.
nice over there.
Very nice.
Very nice. Still got it. You wouldn't know.
We good on that, Aaron? We ready to go?
No-tell, motel.
All right, please welcome back to the show. Here to talk about our friends over at Tax Network USA. One of their spokesperson is Cameron Kinsey. Cameron, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you.
It is good to see you as well. We exchanged text, I guess, whatever the young kids call it, back on Instagram. First of all, how are you feeling? You look great, and you're back. I saw you back on Fox after your episode there. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much. It was good to be back on and back on the horse, and it's good to be with you guys today. I'm feeling a lot better.
Great. That's great to hear. I'm glad you're feeling good. Hope everything is great with your health. Let's talk about Tax Network USA a little bit. How do they help clients in tax resolution and IRS issues?
Yeah, at Tax Network USA, we step in when the IRS just kind of feels overwhelming, whether you're facing wage garnishment, back taxes, or really just a lien on your home. Our team knows how to fight back. We negotiate. We basically get you real relief during these circumstances. And even though the deadline is passed, now is really the time to call us before those penalties keep racking up. So we've helped thousands of Americans reclaim their financial freedom, and our goal is just to help you in any way that we can.
And is Tax Network USA dealing with more small business owners? Are they dealing with just individual returns? What do they see more of?
Yeah, that's a great question. We work with a wide variety of clients like W-2 employees, retirees, 6-7-figure earners who suddenly find themselves in hot water with the IRS. We've worked with the big businesses as well as small businesses as well. But really just our goal is if the IRS comes knocking, we can help in any way that we can. Even if the deadline is passed, reaching out now can stop those penalties.
So on the small business side, you said part of it's small business owners. What are the tax relief options available for small business owners?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like small business owners have just been trying to stay afloat since COVID, but we can help reduce or eliminate those penalties. We negotiate favorable payment plans for small business owners as well. In some cases, settle for far less than what you've actually owed. But again, the longer you wait, it's harder because the less options that you have.
Is there a time frame people can expect when they reach out to Tax Network USA from maybe initial consultation to some kind of agreement and settlement, or what's like a typical time frame, or is there any? Is it just not typical? Everyone's really different.
Yeah, it really just depends on the complexity of your case. That's a great question. We move fast. As soon as we get that call with you, or if you fill out a form online, there's a free consultation. We'll go over the necessary documentation needed if you want to move forward in this process. Most clients see relief within weeks of contacting us, but a resolution can happen in just a few months as well. It just depends on what you're dealing with. But the key is to act quickly in this case.
We've been speaking with Cameron Kinsey. She's the spokesperson for Tax Network USA. Of course, you can visit them at tnusa.com/RAV, R-A-V, tnusa.com/RAV. Well, while I have you, before I let you go, I want to ask you just one quick thing. James Comey today tells us that he stumbles upon seashells that just happen to be laying on the beach in the form of 8647 as in 8647. And then he tells us that he doesn't know that 86 stands for to eliminate or to get rid of. Give me your quick take on the former FBI director today.
Well, I think this is just disgusting behavior, and I'm glad that accountability is coming. We've already seen Tulsi Gabbard come out and say that, calling for his arrest, but this is what they do. They say that Trump is a threat to democracy when they're going out and inciting violence against a duly elected president who won by the popular vote. It's disgusting behavior, and I'm thankful that we have this administration, people like Kash Patel, people like Tulsi Gabbard who have already seen it and they're on it.
Great. Good stuff. We agree. I hope something happens here because I think it's outrageous what the guy did knowingly and willfully knowing a call to action against the President of the United States. Cameron, appreciate a few moments. Thank you very much. Again, you can visit Tax Network USA, tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV. Continued good health and feeling well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you guys.
All right, there you go. Cameron Kinsey representing Tax Network USA. Again, visit them online, tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV. 35 past the hour, now 36 past the hour. Let's do some news. Rick Delgado's got the news, brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, speaking of the big story of the night that we kicked off with, of course, James Comey, turns out Tulsi Gabbard has just said that, according to this on X, she was on another network. She was on with Jesse. Says, holy crap, Tulsi just agreed that James Comey should be jailed over his threat to Donald Trump. The rule of law, she says here, says people like him who issue direct threats against the President of the United States, essentially issuing a call to assassinate him, must be held accountable.
Yeah.
And this coming from
100%.
Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI secretary.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Everybody knows this guy, his level of TDS, his hatred for Trump, and everybody knows that this was not happenstance. This was not like, oh, look at here. What a nice array of seashells. Let me post a picture. His response is ridiculous. The post is ridiculous. Everybody who has an IQ higher than 2 knows what this is. So stop beating around the bush. Stop playing around. It isn't free speech. It isn't anything that just happenstance. It's ridiculous.
It's a direct threat with motive. This guy has been in the crosshairs. Look what this guy has done to Trump. And now it's, he knows there's comeuppance for him and his family, especially with his daughter been running cover for him as well. This is also in the wake of, I don't know if you saw this, Tulsi has also fired Mike Collins, from the National Intelligence Council, and Maria Langen-Reichoff. So this is in the wake of people. She's stopping the weaponization of the government in her path, and now this on top of it.
Right. She's flushing out these holdovers that were basically working behind the scenes to try and take out anything that the Trump administration tried to do.
And I don't care about anybody on the left or in the center or anyone else on CNN or over at National Review who says that we're all overreacting, we're all losing our mind, and it's all ridiculous. It's just that this is some innocent, not even a mistake. I don't want to hear it. And no one else should either. And you shouldn't listen to it. It's total nonsense. It was very specific. The guy knew what he was doing. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he's the one who got down there and did it or somebody with him. But there's no way he happenstanced upon that.
No.
Stop it.
No way.
Give me a break.
And he is knee-deep in the intelligence community.
Yep.
And the intelligence community has had it with Trump because he's rocked their gravy train. So this is a legitimate threat, in my opinion.
Good for Tulsi, by the way, for being the first one to say it.
And she's not the only one breaking news as well. Congressman, one of our favorites, as you would imagine, calling for the arrest of James Comey after his jaw-dropping attack on Trump. I'm talking about Congressman Tim Burchett, the Republican GOP Republican out of Tennessee, who believes the strong and short S message is anything to go by because he believes that, well, the message from James Comey is a serious call against a prominent political figure, stems from Comey's seemingly flippant Instagram use. Comey, of course, took to social media. We already know what he did. Well, he says that, Comey needs to be arrested as well.
Elise Stefanik, you can add her to the list as well. This out on her X tonight right there. Arrest Comey. Pictures on the beach. So yeah, that's another one you can add to the list.
Many have interpreted this as a not-so-veiled threat at the president and making any sort of threat to a sitting president's life open for interpretation or not as a bridge too far for Burchett and other like-minded lawmakers. Senator Josh Hawley didn't outright call for action quite like Burchett, but did express exasperation at even implied rhetoric against Trump. According to Kash Patel, he says, we are aware of the recent social media posts by former FBI Director James Comey directed at President Trump. We are in communication with the Secret Service and Director Curran as well. So, you know what? There's a lot of angry people, I think, starting to make their voices heard, and it's about time.
Yeah, let me remind you. You're gonna tell me this guy, it just was all happenstance, and there's no willful intent here at all? Let me remind you who we're talking about.
Do you agree with that it would be difficult or nearly impossible for the law enforcement institutions to put him in actual jail?
No, they would just put him in a double wide somewhere out near the fence, out in the grass. And he would eat there, he'd shower there, he'd exercise there, he'd be away, as Danya Perry said, from general population, but it's obviously doable.
Oh, yes, and I'm sure he's very excited about the idea of doing that, too. But this is who we're talking about. Oh, yeah, look at this. I just stumbled up, and look what I found here. Let me just take a picture and post it on my X with all my followers, because why not? I take pictures of numbers all the time and post it, I'm sure.
That happened just by themselves in nature. It just happens in nature by itself. Nobody arranging those rocks or shells at all. James Comey, of course, wouldn't be afforded being kept away from general population, or Gen Pop, as they call it. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyhow, speaking of Donald Trump, here was him. Now, if you're going to go to dinner, cut number 8. This is, I guess, how you go to dinner when you're the president of the United States, being feted by some of the richest nations in the world. Look at this. That is the presidential limousine. Some like to call it the Beast, being escorted. This is just a wild scene. I believe this is in the UAE, which is where I think he landed today, correct?
Look at that. Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
All right.
Just amazing stuff. And, of course, here is, well, we don't have time to play this, from the president announcing his new deal with India, which basically, brings the tariffs way down to zero. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, yeah, so there you have it. A little update from the president, his trip in the Middle East. He was also visiting the military base over there with comedian Theo Von, who escorted him as well. A lot of great video from that. You can find that on X. So go check it out.
Brett Tolman, who was my choice, of course, for AG, by the way, says tonight, I strongly believe, given his status and following, that this violates 18 U.S.C. 871. And I think the following is a big part of it. You don't willy-nilly put people who have that many followers and that kind of status, don't just willy-nilly post something like this, a set of numbers that they say, oh, I didn't assemble it. I'm just acknowledging someone else's work, and I'm going to post it on my social media. He said there are some things you cannot say if you're the former director of the FBI, and this constitutes a direct threat to the president. And I wholeheartedly agree with Brett Tolman tonight.
Chat, live in the chats. Yeah, the UAE had some great stuff going on today with the president.
I have a good clip of the Saudi press. It's like the king's treatment. And I had a bunch of testimonials of people who were there talking about him. Saudis just going haywire, like how impressive he was.
Hey, Maxwell Smart, as well as Lily 1919, back to back. Both had a great idea. Maybe do a little raid on Mr. Comey's house at like 3 a.m.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, invite CNN there before it happens so they can catch it on camera.
Well,
I'm sure they'd love to be there.
On it. They'll be right on it.
Like they did for Roger Stone and all these other guys.
Yeah, well, the way they embarrassed Peter Navarro on a plane.
Carolina, moving on, Paul. They pumped 2 goals in. Yeah, they're unbelievable.
They're a good team.
They're a tough team. They might have a shot.
They legitimately have a shot. They have a great coach, and they have so much character on their bench.
Is that Ovechkin's last game?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Dude, he just scored 40-something goals.
He's 39.
There was talk about him retiring now that he broke the record.
He's 39, and he's still built like a brick, you-know-what house.
Yeah. He could stay. Look at Jaromir Jagr. He played till he was, 87?
He's still
He played 3 years
I think he's still
after he
playing.
passed.
He's still playing in the European
I think he's playing over
Siberian League over there. He's on the Siberian skiers. Oh, my gosh. What a great player he was. Oof.
He was great.
Incredible. Going on, chat. I gotta go back to the chat. Let me see what's going on over there. Got any more steak sandwiches coming in hot?
Wow, it's the last segment? Holy cow.
Yeah. We talking about anything other than the seashells? Slick lavender slides. No, Arby, I ain't got no lavender
Anything
slides.
more important than the president, someone calling for his assassination? I don't know.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
It's just crazy how people don't want to talk about it.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Let's do a little more sports, a little more news with everybody, and we'll wrap it up here. Paul Nolan, I'll start with you. What else is on your mind in the news?
I wanted to kind of show a clip that I saw about Trump's reception in Saudi Arabia. I'll keep it short. There's just one quick that the local news they have played. If we can run that real quick, I wouldn't mind having a brief discussion on. Looks like there's a great sense of relief throughout the Middle East. So I'm just curious what you guys think of this.
Coronation. He was greeted with golden sabers, white Arabian stallions, and a royal motorcade fit for a king. It was imperial treatment. Saudi outlets called it a tribute to power, something no U.S. president in history has ever received. But Trump didn't just bring symbolism. He brought $600 billion in investment deals. He brought the world's attention back to the Middle East on his terms. He signed a $142 billion defense agreement and launched a U.S.-Saudi AI alliance. Even more shocking, Trump lifted all sanctions on Syria during the visit.
For me, I just think if he's not doing this, China will be. So we have to, to me, there just has to be commerce throughout the Middle East. It can no longer be, full isolation from all of the Middle East. It just can't be. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. I know I think you're probably against this a little bit, D.
What do you mean?
I would imagine you'd be more like on the Mark Levin side of things, where he thinks this is a fully horrible idea, that America shouldn't be doing business with these Middle Eastern nations. I don't know where you stand. I was just curious about.
I don't know that he thinks that. I think he thinks that Trump is not an isolationist. He's never shown himself to be an isolationist. But I think he thought, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, I think he thought that parts of that speech sounded like somewhat isolationist. But I don't believe he thinks that President Trump is, and I don't think Trump is an isolationist.
I think he's the furthest thing.
Yeah.
I think he's an opportunist.
I'll tell you, if you want to read a good piece on summarizing all the stuff that happened, I haven't had a chance to get to it, but I really like reading this, and I like listening to her too. This by, I hope I pronounce her name right, Batya Ungar Sargon. I think she's a Democrat, but she calls herself a MAGA Democrat. She's on CNN a lot. And yeah. She's really good.
She's very good on
She's got a piece in the Free Press called "Forget Democracy in the Middle East. Trump Wants Deals," and I think to a lot of your point, Paul, she encapsulates a lot of what you were talking about. It's too long to get into tonight. Maybe I'll try to get into it a little bit tomorrow, but. It's a really good piece in the Free Press.
Please post it and tag me on your X feed. To me, I just think the most important thing is we have these conversations about these subjects. They can't be linear. It can't be A and B. There's way more nuance to all of these subjects, and they really have to be thought about like a grand chessboard and how the pieces are all going to move and how everything impacts everybody in every nation along the way. So
I think the other point, though, is, and I think to Levin's point, I don't think it's probably not a great idea to get into the habit of thinking that somehow some of these people over there are going to change what they believe and who they are and how much they hate us. And saying, okay, we'll just sit back and wait, and we'll just take Iran's word for it that they're not going to continue. I mean, anything they sign is about as worth as the paper that they sign it on. They've signed all kinds of stuff before, and they have no intention of ever following it. And they go on and continue to proliferate their nuclear aspirations. And I just think people who say, "Oh no, we can sit back, not worry about that," and when they come to the table, it's going to be all well, like yippee yippee, here we go. That's just naive.
Yeah, that's fully naive. It's like expecting China to follow any trade deal that comes along. They've reneged on every trade deal we've ever made with them. So to believe that they're gonna, not break their word is naive as well. And I honestly think the tactic that'll happen most likely will be Iran will play ball, so to speak, but they're still going to try to enrich their uranium and have a nuclear weapon. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. But I think the best way to prevent it is through good business. But the way we went after the Houthis, I just think that people know that Trump has got no problem killing people and going bombs away.
Right.
But they know he doesn't want it.
You know what I notice based on how you're presenting your side is what it speaks to is basically the tactics that we've been using the last 30, 40 years haven't worked, have they?
Bingo.
So why not try this? What could possibly, if it works out a little bit better, then great. If it doesn't work, we're back to where we were anyway. We're back to where we were when we started, so there's really nothing lost.
He's going to speak for me the rest of the night.
We'll get. What we need to do is get.
That's exactly it.
We need to get Dr. Zuhdi Jasser back on the show. It was one of the great interviews we have done. One of the great highlights of me doing this show was having the ability to speak to him. He has a piece in Fox News Digital this week that's entitled "Take It From This Muslim: Peace Depends on Total Defeat of the Islamic Death Cult. Unconditional surrender by Hamas is a necessary step towards lasting peace and prosperity." Maybe we'll try to get Dr. Jasser back on the show to discuss all of this with you, because he would be, he is an absolute brilliant man who understands this probably better than almost anybody.
I've read something through him as well as Raheem Kassam was talking about the army of darkness that is formed in Garland, Texas, how these Sharia law type Muslim groups are just taking over gigantic swaths of land and cities.
They want to create, it's called Epic City.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And this is a scary moment too. But let's be honest. Every single time we obliterate a Muslim nation, the non-extremists or the people who just want to live with their families run to a European or American nation, a Western nation, and now they take over, and then the extremists follow, and then the extremists, get away with murder and rape and disgusting behavior all throughout that said city. Well, we keep them where they are. Let's stop bombing. Let's see if this works. Let's stop displacing people who will not adhere to the Western culture, and let's try that for a little while. Let's see what happens. But I think he nails it as well. It's naive to believe we could just trust them blindly, but good business. Less death, maybe it'll be a good motivator.
All right, let's do some sports to wrap it up for a Thursday night. Slick, what else is going on?
All right, BD, back to the scoreboard we go. It's all over in D.C. The Hurricanes are moving on. Carolina with a 3-1 win over the Capitals. Scored 2 goals late in the third period. East second round in the books, and they are on to the conference finals. They will take on the winner of, there's a Game 6 tomorrow night between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Right now, the Panthers lead that series 3-2, so it's looking like it might be a down south type of series there. But we'll see. Toronto will probably have a statement to make. Jets and Stars just underway in Winnipeg. No score. They're about a minute and a half in. That's Weston's second round, Game 5. Dallas leading that series 3-1. The winner of that gets the pleasure of playing a buzzsaw called the Edmonton Oilers, who absolutely went right through Vegas and ripped Tinseltown apart, and Vegas lost that series 4-1, so going to be tough there. NBA action, we got a good one at the half. The Thunder right now looking to close it out against Denver, up 61-58 on the road. Game 6, like I said, OKC leading that series 3-2. They're looking to move on, and they get the pleasure of facing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are waiting for them. So, boy, we're getting down to the wire. Major League Baseball, just one game in action right now, mid-8th. The Rangers blanking the Astros 1-0 in Texas over in Arlington, and that is, again, the middle of the 8th. No score, 1-0 there. Dodgers and A's coming up at 10-10, Big D. I don't have time for a Stephen A. story, other than the fact he says, Stephen A. Smith says Dallas shouldn't trade Cooper Flagg because he's good and he's white. Texas is different. Stephen A. constantly out there, man, with the comments. But, yeah.
He's good and he's white. Excellent.
He's good and he's white. Yeah,
right.
So keep him. Texas is different, Big D. So there's a guy that wants to run for president in a couple of years. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. And that's a wrap in sports.
Ted Cruz tonight says, is there any other reasonable explanation for this post other than the former head of the FBI is publicly calling for the murder of the President of the United States? Plain and simple. And the answer, Senator, is no. As always, we salute our military, active and active, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks to everybody on the show. Aaron Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night live at the America First Warehouse. If you want to come, send me an email, lfs6b@yahoo.com. We'll see you then, 8 p.m. live from Studio 6B.